What does it feel like to be a sports fan and witness someone wearing your team's jersey? Doesn't that feel good? What if you encounter someone wearing a hoodie from the college you attended? You always have something to talk about because of psychology. Perhaps you're traveling abroad and come across someone wearing a hat that proclaims they're from the United States or even your hometown. It's natural to feel more at ease and trustworthy when you know someone like you is nearby. But what if you run into someone from a rival sports team? Why do these feelings occur? Why are we more likely to trust someone based just on their sports team membership, hometown, or other comparable factors? Why do we dread or distrust persons who do not belong to these groups? Hey everyone, it's Knowle, your gateway to understanding human behavior and emotions. Join us for fascinating insights. Hit subscribe for a part of our journey through the exciting field of psychology. One explanation is the concept of in-group bias. This video discusses in-group prejudice and how it might affect our judgment when judging people, allocating resources, or making decisions. This can be a difficult subject to broach, especially when it affects specific groups such as persons of a given race, ethnicity, or gender. However, I believe that only by properly understanding our hidden prejudices will we be able to overcome them and build a more equitable world for all. First and foremost, what is the in-group bias? In-group prejudice, also known as in-group partiality, is a bias in which people prefer others who belong to similar groups to themselves. Gender, race, ethnicity, hair color, or even a favorite sports team could form these groups. We prefer to favor those who are similar to us and belong to our groups because of the in-group bias. However, in-group prejudice is more than just views and preferences. We are also more prone to act in ways that benefit in-group members. On the negative side, this means that we are more prone to look down on people who do not belong to our groups. But I'll go into more detail about this in my video on out-group bias. When you turn on the news today, you can easily detect in-group prejudice. It is not one of the most obscure concepts in the field of social psychology. In-group bias is also not a distinct notion. A few different hypotheses support the concept of in-group bias. The social identity theory is one of these theories. After completing a series of research on how humans establish groups and our distinct identities, Henry Tadfel coined the phrase in the 1970s. This theory divides the process of forming an identity into three parts: categorization, identification, and comparison. We compare our groupings to other groups and ourselves to persons in those other groups during the comparison stage. It may come as no surprise that when we make these comparisons, we frequently favor ourselves and those in our in-groups. Generalized reciprocity is another theory that supports the idea of in-group bias but exists outside of the realm of social psychology. Generalized reciprocity is a concept found in both economics and anthropology. Reciprocity happens when one person exchanges goods and services for another, similar to when you buy your friend coffee as a treat with the unspoken agreement that they might get the next one in the future. Reciprocity is most likely to occur in our most intimate in-groups. We can rely on our relatives and close friends to get us coffee later. Further research has attempted to determine when people begin to exhibit in-group prejudice. The answer isn't always obvious, but one study found that boys as young as 3 years old could exhibit in-group prejudice. It is crucial to understand that in-group bias is not a fixed mindset. Other research indicates that people may exhibit more or less in-group bias as a result of external variables. In one study, men showed in-group bias toward members from the same political party during some stages of the election cycle, but not others. Their prejudices may have had little to do with biology or neuroscience. Instead, the presence of tension or conflict may have had a greater impact. Let us now discuss some of the advantages of in-group bias. Consider the sports jersey example I provided at the start of this video. You might look at a complete stranger wearing that jersey and naturally grin or nod. According to one study, when participants witnessed comparable sports fans being harmed, they were more inclined to feel empathy, even if they didn't know the supporters personally. This is important in social psychology because we are more ready to aid those in our in-groups, even if they owe us nothing and we have never met them before. In fact, this form of connecting is essential for our health. Belonging, or a sensation of belonging, is included as a base-level psychological need in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is immediately above necessities such as food, drink, safety, and shelter. We feel a sense of belonging once we identify members from our in-group. We feel trusted and valued in return because we naturally trust and appreciate our in-group members. We get a burst of endorphins just by seeing someone wearing a sports jersey, a college sweater, or an American flag hat. Unfortunately, there must be an out-group if there is an in-group. Our proclivity to act in ways that favor the in-group may result in us taking resources away from the out-group. This concept can be traced back to social identity theory, which may have evolved from basic demands to live on scarce resources. People may exclude others in out-groups by seizing or distributing resources such as food, housing, or jobs based on in-group bias. There are numerous examples of this procedure available. This is why programs such as affirmative action and low-income housing exist. This is why there is such a heated debate in the country over the income disparity between men and women. Historically, our country's leaders have mostly been members of one in-group: white, straight, wealthy men. It's no surprise that the majority of leaders are at the top of the food chain and are often white, straight, wealthy men. However, as we begin to confront in-group bias and its role in our society, we may begin to see changes in our leadership and resource distribution. If there is one thing we can learn from studying in-group prejudice, it is that we can better comprehend it. Hopefully, by better understanding it, we can create a more free and equitable society. As we conclude, I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you found value in this video and learned something new, and I look forward to seeing you in our future videos. I would deeply value it if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support will help us to create more valuable content. What are the key takeaways from this video that you can share in the comment section?